What are TikTok up to?
Well, I find this very strange because we know that social media platforms don't have to obey freedom of speech because they are their own private platforms. But the problem here is that they are the gateways to information, and they have a monopoly on information. They control the information superhighway. Twitter and Facebook are a lot bigger than TikTok, but TikTok is big with a certain demographic, as you mentioned, quite young people. So to have such an opaque platform that says anything that's deemed beyond the pale, anything that's deemed a hate crime is removed, is quite scary, because I don't think that was hateful. I don't think I'm a hateful guy. I thought that was quite a compassionate debate. Both sides presented in a very charitable way from different perspectives, but both sides were put forward as well. So to suggest that what I said or what we said in that clip is not allowed to be viewed by people on the platform is quite worrying.
And also, I find worrying, Calvin, in all this, the process, the missing bits of natural justice. I mean, if somebody's done wrong, and at the end of the day, TikTok don't have to, it's a business, they're not obliged to carry what you say or I say. But, there has to be some scope for learning, for rehabilitation. But for that to happen, you've got to know which bit of what you said they find objectionable. And that's the bit of the jigsaw that's missing, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's even worse on TikTok, because I had a 24-hour suspension recently, and that could escalate into a permanent ban, but I'm not exactly sure why. So one of the clips was with Tom Harwood. Another clip was on the controversy with Anaya and Patrick, also discussing trans, and the other one was a Black Lives Matter debate. Now, none of them had any hateful speech in them, but on one of the clips, I've appealed all of them. One of the clips I appealed, and it was put back, and it was taken down again. But now I have no reprieve, because you can only appeal once. And again, there's no information about which rules or stipulations you've broken, just that it's deemed as hate crime. And I find that really frustrating, because I'm not a hateful guy. I'm trying to put forward my truth, so to speak. I'm trying to put forward the facts. And if people want to debate the facts, I'm happy to hear it. And on TikTok, you can reply to people. I've had people stitching my clips. I don't make original content for TikTok. I just put my GBNews clips up there, and people have responded to them and presented alternative arguments, and we've had debates back and forth, and that's how a democracy should work. But when we have these big tech platforms censoring the debate and controlling the narrative, especially with TikTok, because it is linked to the authoritarian Chinese regime. Donald Trump wanted to ban it in America. I can understand why. I think they are subverting Western democracy. They are disrupting our way of life by indoctrinating young people with this silly woke ideology.
Calvin, there'll be some of our viewers, maybe at the older end of the demographic spectrum, will say, come on, don't dignify TikTok with talk of appeals and quasi-legal jargon. It's far less important than that. It's frivolous nonsense. I'm pretty sure you will say, and I would agree with you, it's not frivolous, it's important. There are processes at stake here which really matter. And if we are to use a word like appealing against a judgment, a really important principle, foundational principle of living in a free society, we need to know what's going. And from what you've just told us, Calvin, it's the bit where they say you're back on, but then you're off, and actually one strike and you're out. That's a lamentable process.
And it's not just TikTok; it is big tech as the whole. In a whole, we saw the president of the United States removed from Twitter and Facebook over the last few years. That is how much power these companies have. Naysayers will say, "Well, just set up your own social network, then set up your own platform." And it's not as simple as that. We saw Parler try to do just that. Amazon, Apple, and Google all colluded to wipe them out. They removed them from their networks, they removed them from their mobile phones, they removed them from the servers. It's not as easy as setting up on your own, because it is a monopoly. They have control over the marketplace of ideas, and that is very dangerous, because they are pushing a certain political narrative, and any opposition is shut down. That is not healthy for the world that we live in.